classrooms shouldn't be stages upon which teachers can preach their various indoctrination masquerading as eternal truths. And similarly, museums that are over 70% funded by the federal government shouldn't be laboratories for political experiments. And so what we're doing is we just sent a letter to the Smithsonian asking for all information regarding their exhibits and their placards to try to get to the bottom of what happened and where the Smithsonian went wrong, and try to make the Smithsonian amazing and great and live up to what the president wants the Smithsonian and DC to be. It's the capital of our city, and we need to make it amazing and great and beautiful.
Yeah, Lindsay, I mean, obviously, Charlotte and I both lived in D.C. for a number of years. I love the Smithsonian's and visiting them, taking family and friends there. And we often talk about preserving history in museums and not erasing it. But how do you balance that? That, we need to be able to review this while honoring even our not-so-pleasant past.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about whitewashing. It's all about full context. So while slavery is obviously a horrible aspect of our nation's history, you can't really talk about slavery honestly unless you also talk about hope and progress. And I think we need to be focusing on the progress that we've made since then, and we need to stop focusing so much on the lack of progress. We need to keep moving forward as a country. Our 250th anniversary as a country is coming up next July, and we're hoping that the Smithsonian and DC is beautiful and amazing and a place that all Americans want to come visit during that time. And so I'm really
Shalom. First, I start off by giving all great honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to teachers, zealous, and apostles of great millstone. Likewise, brothers, put on this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep unto brothers and sisters that tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson's title: Own Your Actions in History, Esau. And as you've seen in the opening clip, which is being shown across various platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, you name it, okay, and even on the mainstream media, okay, what we have here is the leader of Great Babylon America trying to downplay, okay, the atrocities of slavery by trying to repel funding to the museums that are showcasing, okay, the horrific treatment of the so-called Negroes here in Great Babylon, America, and what the key takeaway from this clip, and what this man is trying to convey is that they're in complete denial, unapologetic, okay, and they mention about 250-year anniversary, okay, of the independence of Great Babylon, America, okay, which we know empires only last 250 years. So the fact that this man knows that he has but a short time, you can see where right now they're not hiding their true hatred or their feelings for us. In fact, when you look at it, Revelation 20 and 30, it talks about this devil being loose, okay, for a little season, okay? Now, there's two key things that you can look at this. You have slavery, which pursuant to Deuteronomy 28, we were put into slavery under Esau, okay, these Edomites, and you have post-slavery actions. So these museums don't only showcase what took place in slavery, but they showcase what took place after so-called emancipation. And this is what they're trying to hide, because why? We can look presently right now and see that Esau is still the same as he was during the time when we were under, bondage, slavery, which we still are, okay? And they're trying to erase that out of the minds of the people, but it's too late, okay? You've been laid bare. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy 28, okay, and starting with verse 49, because slavery, which is what we went through, okay, and then post-slavery actions put a lot of economic strife, okay, on Jakes and persecution. And it says it right here in the scriptures. Verse 49, it reads, "The Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flied, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand." And that that eagle flied, okay, was a symbol of the United States. Okay, the eagle, okay, that's their national bird. So that gives you right there, okay, an idea of where the children of Israel would be in captivity. It says, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. We can see the actions of Esau towards these other nations and how he bombed these places and killed young children. When they bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they killed women, kids, babies, all kinds of people. So they didn't show any mercy to us over here in slavery, just like they're not showing mercy to us right now. And says, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And this is why you see how people is in this economic downfall, constantly spiraling, living in the ghettos and the barrios, constantly having to beg the so-called white man who's our oppressor, okay, our persecutor, for everything. And he uses this as leverage to control Jakes and have Jakes, certain Jakes do a lot of abominable things in the eyes of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, and so here's this man right now who's been set up by the elites. Of course, the elites work for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai on the left side, okay, to bring about these things. And so you can see the pride, okay, the unapologetic attitude that's coming from these Edomite, because right now they're getting ready to set, okay, upon us, that time known as Jacob's trouble. Okay, now many of you have seen the picture of Emmett Till, okay, and what they did to him, which was a lie that was spoken against him by Shedamite. Okay, you see they bash his head, and it was an open casket. So I use AI to bring this picture alive, and you can see here, this is how the parents of Emmett Till felt that day. Okay, and you look at the hangings that took place, okay, after we were supposedly emancipated from slavery. Okay, I mean, they really, really started to lay hands on Jake. Okay, and you can see I took this picture and brought it to life with AI, and you can see they're celebrating. It's two Jakes swinging from ropes. It doesn't faze them one bit, because the Edomites are natural killers. The murderers, okay, they're naturally evil. They're the children, sons, and daughters of the wicked. Okay, so this doesn't bother them one damn bit. And since we're considered, 3/5 of a man, okay, in their eyes, they really want to bring back this slavery mentality, okay. But the Lord Yahweh Shemeshai has something for them. They can't hide what they've done, so they need to own it. Okay, they need to own it. All right, let's go into the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, start verse 1, and it reads, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldees. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." Okay, so the Lord Yahweh Shemeshai is bringing this place down, starting with the curses pursuant to Deuteronomy 30:7, which is going on these low-level Edomites. And that's why they're catching hell, and they find themselves in the same situation as Jake. Because why? You have that cruel Lord, okay, who is Donald Trump, who we have identified as Nero Caesar, okay, who's bringing about those actions, which not only impacts us through Jacob's trouble, but it's also going to impact the Edomites, okay, his own people. It says, "Take the millstone and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, the shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." They're talking about this deep space, what looks like a rock, but could be a spaceship coming towards Earth, and they're having that, they're putting that propaganda of fear out there. Okay, whether it's a chariot of the Lord or not. Okay, either way, Yahushai, the Mashiach, our Savior, is going to return, okay, in power and glory, and he is going to destroy, okay, his enemy, okay, Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man, and those that join Esau in going up against the Mashiach when he returns. So he's going to come back in power and glory, in his power, his true form. As for our Redeemer, the Lord Yahweh Shai of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans. for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdom. So, people still living in the past, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, when America was the shit on this earth. But now it's a nation that's being despised, and they're trying to uncover. Remember back in 2020, they was trying to pull down all the statues. They pulled down the Georgia Guidestones, all those things they was trying to take down. And now they're looking to go into the Smithsonian Museum and all these museums across Great Babylon, America, okay, which have a replica of, stone figures illustrating the harshness of slavery, and also the civil rights movement, which has a lot of brutality involved in that. And this is what they're trying to cover. But it's too late. It's in the history book. It's online. Okay, it's too late. It's too late. Okay, it's a waste of energy. So they're threatening, not to fund them. And you can see even with these Edomites who are, speaking this news piece here, you can see the pride in their face, that they have no clue what's in store for them. But they will find out. It says, I was wroth with my people, I polluted my inheritance, and given them into thine hand. Thou didst shew them no mercy. Upon the ancients hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. This man doesn't show mercy. And we go into, 2nd Ezra 16, verse 70, which talks about the fact that they're going to be like madman sparing none. These attention centers out there, okay, is a harsh reality of what we experienced coming over here on those cargo ships and what we experienced during slavery. It's in modern day time right now. So why focus on the Smithsonian museums and these other museums that showcasing your cruelty, man? We can see your cruelty on a daily basis right now. Jacob running for their lives as we speak. Okay, but the Lord Yahweh Shemashah is going to get you. It says, and thou says, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. So Esau never expect to get judged or punished. Okay, they really don't. A lot of these so-called white people, when we say they're going to go into slavery like that, they're sitting down and thinking like, how are we going to go into slavery? Y'all don't have a military force. Y'all can't do it. We got guns and all that stuff like that. No, the Hamashiach is going to fight for us. Okay, we just the messengers. Okay, and we're not the typical jakes out there, walking around with straps and think we're going to take you on, Esau. Okay, your blessing is the sword. Okay, we're prophets. We're not warriors. Okay, continuing, it says, therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and woman and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. So yes, you're going to see a lot of Edomites getting put to death. Their kids, okay, them, the adults, men, women, okay. These death angels are now thriving all over the earth. As soon as the elect has been sealed, you Edomites are going to find out just how really angry the Lord is for what you've done to his children. Continuing, says, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it had perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Now, as you saw, what's playing in the background right now, okay, shows you all the lynchings and all the things that has taken place. Okay, so the NAACP, they came up, and these other groups out there, they came up with a list with the names of Jakes who were put to death through lynchings and beatings and murder from Esau, starting, okay, from the 1800s, okay, up to the 1950s. And I actually had to speed this up, okay, 10 times the speed that this was playing, just so it could fit into this video. This was an hour of names flashing across, okay, the screen. And this is only the southern part of America. It says, therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know, because you're dealing with a higher power. It's not the vengeance of the Hebrew Israelites. It is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh Shemashah, and in the perfection of his vengeance, you Edomites, okay, have hell to pay. So Donald Trump, okay, or whatever law that's out there right now, these governors, mayors, whatever the case is like that, you all need to own your actions and history. You need to own it. All right? Lord willing, the lack of satisfied because we're giving all glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Shabbat Shalom.